Hey everybody, Nick Yor here to bring you a very special edition of the Prep Zone. Today we are joined by head football coach of Centreville High School, Chris Haddock. And Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thanks a lot for having me.
All right, Coach, we'll get right into it. You guys just had a big road win last weekend versus South County in Lorton. What did you like and maybe some things you'd like to see your team work on for next week?
Well, I think, when you have a big win like we did, I think sometimes high school kids have a tendency to think, well, we just had a big one. Maybe there's a little letdown. So we really have been on our guys a lot this week about staying focused and staying in the moment and playing every week, like they're the same and all those things. So we've been really working on that. We're on a short week this week. With the hurricane, we're moving our game up to tomorrow. So we've had to be really ultra focused to get all our prep in, without losing a day.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I'm sure a lot of teams are doing that around the northern region. So we were just talking about that South County game, and it was a pretty odd game. It took 2 days to finish due to the lightning. How often has that happened in your career?
I think that might be the only time that's ever happened to me in 26 years. We've definitely had some unique things happen. 17 years ago with 9/11, we had a game canceled. We had years later when we had the sniper situation, we had a game canceled, and then we actually moved games to all other parts of the state. At that time, I was at Chantilly High School, and we moved a game to Charlottesville to play. But we were all over the state. But I don't know that I've ever in 26 years had lightning come in the middle and had to go back and finish a game.
Yeah, it's definitely a strange side. I've never had that in my high school football career playing around the northern region. So what do you tell your kids in that situation to keep them focused on task? Because it's such a long 2 day span. Because you guys didn't get going again until almost 3 p.m. that next Saturday, or the next day. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we had a weird week of weather. With Fairfax County implementing some new policies recently. We had several practices that were inside. We had a couple practices that were outside without pads. So we kind of had a weird week leading up to the Friday Saturday split, and we just spent a lot of time talking about listen, it doesn't matter with the circumstances here. We need to be ready to play. They're going to be they're going to give you their best, and we've got to be ready no matter what situation. So we kind of all week we're talking about we'll play anytime, any place, anywhere, and if we get postponed, that's just part of the deal. We got to be ready and come back. And our kids did a really, really great job coming back on Saturday with a lot of great focus and energy, and we played that way.
Yeah, you guys got off to a great start that Saturday as well. I was able to catch the fourth quarter of that game. So you guys are off to another great start this season at 3-0, defeating Stonewall Jackson, John Champ, and now South County, and actually revenging a loss to John Champ last year, I believe. So what do you think has been the main key this year to getting off to such a fast start?
Well, I think we've got a lot of young men on this team that are kids of high character. I think I have more kids this year that have, a 3.0 grade point average or higher. And I just think those kids bring a more mature attitude to what's going on. There is just a better frame of mind. They're present. They are. Every game, every day has urgency and has importance, and so those kids have been our leaders really throughout the off season and into the beginning of this season, and our younger kids are slowly starting to follow that lead, and so I think it's really it's brought about a maturity level that we haven't had here in a few years, and I think that's really helped us stay focused and get better every day.
Yeah, so you guys have had a lot of success here at Centreville, and you mentioned the kids who have those high grade point averages and stuff like that. But how do you guys, with all the success that you've had at Centreville, preach to your team not to get complacent or overlook any opponent because you guys are one of the big dogs in this region in the Concord District?
Yeah, I mean, we thank you. We have had some good success over the years here, and I think a lot of that is that I think there's a culture of winning here. There's expectation of winning, not just with players and coaches, but in our community and in our school. And I think the kids understand that. And we work them pretty hard. We practice as long as we're allowed to in full pads every day. And I think there's not many people that do that around the area. And so there's, we working pretty hard, and I think that like that's expected, and because we've hung some banners and have won some some championships, I think that a lot of the kids that come through our program feel like that's something that anything less than that is not going to cut it. So they work pretty hard to get the most out of every year.
Yeah, so Nick, you are here again, joined by Centreville head coach Chris Haddock, and we're talking some Centreville Wildcat football. So would you say, following from that most recent question, would you say the culture has probably been the biggest thing for why you've had so much success here at Centreville? You've obviously had great talent, the Kennan Knockums, A.J. Turners, but what would you say is the biggest key since you've been at Centreville?
Yeah, I think the culture has been a big piece. Like I said, there's a lot of really high expectations, and we have a great alumni network of guys that stay in touch with the current players and are able to impart a lot of not only high school wisdom but post high school wisdom on jobs and college and things of that nature. And I think it's really developed a great chemistry between the generations of football players here. And since the school has started, they've won a lot of football games, and so it's really from the very beginning. It's been a great tradition. It's been great having high expectations, and there's a lot of people that have been involved with that, from coaches to teachers to players and administrators, et cetera. And I think across the board, football has been important at this school and in this community, and the kids that get to wear our uniform every Friday night, I think they understand that.
Yeah, so going off expectations, what you said, are they the same every year, or would you say it differs from team to team? And what would you say would be a successful season for this year's team?
Well, I can't put a win total on it, but we expect to be, every year we expect to be playing, deep in the playoffs, and when we don't get there, we're disappointed. We play across the street from the three-time state champions, and so we certainly have, either Westfield or Centreville has been in the state finals, I think, each one of the last 7 or 8 years. So, it's been either us or them, and most lately it's been them. And so I think our kids definitely have some urgency to try and, flip that script a little bit. But we have high expectations here every year. I think they have for a very long time. And I fully anticipate that, somewhere in the playoffs we'll end up hopefully seeing Westfield. I'm sure it'll be for a second time, and hopefully we give them their best. Right now the road to, a state championship runs through there. So, we've got to prepare to make sure that we take care of our business so that we get an opportunity for that game. We play a lot of other good teams, and if we don't take care of our business, somebody could beat us. And but we certainly know that we've got our rivals down the street have same high expectations that we do. So we want to be prepared when that opportunity arrives.
Yeah, it's a great point and a great rivalry, has been for a long time. We will actually be covering that game, Centreville versus Westfield, live on DMV Stream, so make sure to check that out in a couple of weeks. So we'll talk about your background a little bit here. You are from the Northern Virginia area, played at Chantilly High School, and then coached with the Chargers before becoming the head coach at Fairfax prior to arriving at Centreville. So I just love to ask you, 26 years of coaching, like you mentioned, how has the game changed in your mind over the years, and what are some of the adjustments you've had to make to stay successful for so long?
Well, the game has kind of works in cycles a little bit. When I first got in 26 years ago, we had a lot of teams in the area running, kind of the old traditional wing tee,
Yep.
the option stuff that just kind of phased out, and so I've kind of been associated with that wing tee deal the entire time, and things are kind of swinging back, and more people are using those concepts. You see a lot of those concepts now used in the college ranks. It's not really called the wing tee there, but a lot of those same concepts are being used. Everybody's always trying to, put their new wrinkle. Everybody's doing the RPO thing now, and but at the end of the day, football is the same in that you got to block, you got to tackle, and usually the team that imposes their physicality on a Friday night is usually the team that's going to win. the one thing that has stayed the same, it's not about talent and size and speed and all those things. It's about, the team that plays harder, the team that plays more disciplined. There's certainly things that have changed. Technology has changed. There's people using, I remember when I got in, we had to take the reel-to-reel pictures down to, into Fairfax City and get them developed. Had a guy meet us and had to go into the city and get the film developed, and you met him back at 1 a.m. And now with the technology we have, we're trading films, an hour after the game, and and everybody's got instant replay and all this stuff. And so, technology has certainly advanced the game in that regard. I think, a lot of the techniques have gotten safer, which is a great thing for football and for kids. Well, like I said, at the end of the day, it's still blocking and tackling and who's playing harder than the next guy. And so it's been fun to see the, things advance in certain areas, but it's also fun to know that football is still, the same great game it's been for a long, long time, and hopefully it'll continue to be that way.
Yeah, that's a great point. Why fix something that isn't broke? So we'll talk about your next game coming up. You mentioned that it is moved up to tomorrow evening. You guys play on the road at Forest Park, I believe. So what are you expecting to see out of your team in this one? Like you said, coming off maybe 1 day's less preparation.
Yeah, again, we've got some little wrinkles. We're actually playing at Potomac High School because Forest Park has grass. So we're gonna go over to Potomac High School right down the street from there and play because they have a turf field. But I expect us to come out and play hard. I mean, I think again, you don't want to be complacent. This is it's after a big win. But I think the other part of that, when you have a big win, sometimes the guys are more excited to get back out there and do it again. And I think that's kind of where my group is right now. So we're ready to go. There was actually talk of us playing even tonight, and we would have been ready to do that. It's going to be tomorrow, and we'll be ready. We've got a long bus trip in front of us, and so we kind of did that. If you add all the time together, traveling twice to South County, so
yep.
I think our guys are ready to handle that part of the change of all the plans. And I think if we come out and do what we're supposed to do on both sides of the ball, lining up right, and right keys, right coverage, all that stuff. I think if we do all those simple things, that we'll be in good shape Thursday.
Yeah, we'll certainly have someone there to check out that game, but we'll get you out of this here on this one, Coach. You guys are off to another great year. But what do you think is going to be the biggest key probably for this year's team and potentially knocking off a Westfield for a district or regional championship like you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing for us is that we've kind of pared some things down on both sides of the ball schematically. And so really we just need to hone in and get better at those things every day. And so far we've done that. We just need to continue to do that so that we're playing our best football, headed into the playoffs. We shouldn't need to add a whole lot of things. We just need to get really, really good at the things that we are doing. And I see us doing that right now, and we've got to continue that for, the foreseeable future. And if we do, I think that we're going to have a real shot at being competitive in those big games. Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense. And I just want to thank you, Coach, Centreville Coach Chris Haddock, for joining us, and good luck on the rest of the season.
Thanks a lot, guys. Look forward to talking to you soon.
All right, thank you. That was Centreville Coach Chris Haddock joining us for a very special edition of the Prep Zone. And remember, if you'd like to see more interviews, highlights, videos like this one, make sure to check us out at dmvstream.com.